Good morning and welcome to our Friday show on the mark, and I'm pleased to announce that I've got the lovely Raksha with me, who has the ability of finding some value bets throughout the weekend. Raksha, thank you very much for joining us. Unfortunately, Shahil is writing exams. Let's hope he studied as much as he studies the race card before the races, and we wish Shahil all the best for his exams. Let's start off with Saturday. Obviously, we've got a double header this weekend, and we've got the Barbic Cup for the Sunday meeting, but let's start off with the first race on Saturday. 1600 meters 0.20, never easy to find winners in these 0.20s, and if you are a pick 8 player, I suggest that you put a couple of horses in here. I mean, just have to look at the last couple of weeks, always getting a little bit of a surprise result in the first race. I'm going to go, my first selection is going to be Romanus. I don't think he was given the best of rides last week. He was drawn 1. In my opinion, he was too far back. This time, drawn 2, Jono Bodotia on his back. I reckon he's going to be a lot closer. You just have to go back to that very good second to Superstitious in that penultimate run of his. And if he repeats that sort of performance, I think he will be the horse to beat. Obviously, you got to respect Valorant, very consistent in this class. And then Ashford's Legacy, I think Daryl Holland could just make the difference on Ashford Legacy. He's starting to find his form, and those are going to be my first 3, 4 and 2 in the first race. Raksha, how do you see the first race?
Well, it's a 0.20, so it's quite open. But I think here I will go for a win of Romanus. You already said about his chances, and we saw that how he took his race last time. So I think this time, if Bardo jumps it well, wait and put him in one off, definitely the race is for him. And also here is, I guess, today is Bardo's birthday, so quite a birthday gift here. Yep. So for the placings, I will go for Valrin with the third draw, and I think Ashford Legacy run a nice run last week, finishing second. So basically, I think these are the races, other horses to be included in your placings. Yeah. Nice. And I think Mark, for me, Spin Out, we run a cracker one with the plum draw. Yeah, I see in your book you got it as number 4, and in my book I got a number 4 as well. I think but this time also, you know, last time they had a Bicari on board, then they have the apprentice Cudi. So this time with Muniz, I think the jockeyship can play. Yeah, he's got a featherweight, 55.5. Manuel Nunes, I do agree with you. Spun Out, you can't leave him out of the pick 8. If I was a pick 8 player, I'd probably obviously the 3 we spoke about, Spun Out, and maybe put a little Artax in as well. But like I said, pick 8, you're going to load a bit, but I think we're agreeing on 2, 3 and 4 as our first 3 selections, but obviously Romanus will be our first choice. Okay, well, let's hope you guys get through that first leg of the pick 8. It does get, well, actually it gets tough second and third race, but it does get a little bit easier later on. Let's start off with probably, in my opinion, the toughest race of the weekend, not only the card. It's a really difficult race. Obviously, if Roman Dancer had a decent draw, I think he'd be quite a tough horse to beat. Yeah. If you go back to that run of AP Strike, that was a cracking run. And then maybe the second run Syndrome, although it wasn't a bad run behind Good Buddy, but he is drawn 10 in this 990. Remember, number 6 Wendell has been withdrawn. If you didn't know that, number 6 Wendell has been withdrawn, and Nizak is a runner, so the emergency acceptor comes in. Let's get back to the race. So I was saying Roman Dancer, if he had a draw, probably would be my first choice. I don't know if you agree. Yeah, but Mark, if we see well, he has drawn 11. So last time also on 990, he was also drawn badly that day. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he had a lot of speed that day. Yeah, well. Exactly. The jockey did it well, took him from behind of the bad draw, put it in a good position, and he was at the finish on this short sprint. Yeah. So I think tomorrow also the bad draw won't be a great issue for him. Yeah. Yeah, I think if he has a little bit of luck in the running, he's the right horse. River of January, he finished just behind AP Strike. Oh, no, not AP Strike, I beg your pardon. Roman Dancer. He has come on quite a bit, River of January, as far as training is concerned. So there wasn't a bad effort. I suppose you've got to include him. And I mean, who else would you include? Zen Master, 7 colours winner last time? Probably not 7 colours, but I'll go probably for Zen Master. The good draw, and also last time on benchmark 41 he's been running second behind Barak Street. So I think now 41, 31 I think with a good draw, we can't ignore Dan Master here.
Yeah, exactly. There was a cracking run to Barrack Street. Remember, Barrack Street came out and won in the benchmark of 61 after that. So that form is pretty solid, and he's got a draw as well. So I suppose you have to respect him. Once again, tough race. Pick 8 players. Load here. Like I said, it does get a little bit easier later in the day where you could sort of scale down a bit, 1 or 2 bankers.
But Mark, there is a small horse that I like really, is Gordonstown.
Yeah.
I think the draw really puts me off, but I think he's been best on the time factor also. So he's been in the same race, if I'm not wrong, with Roman Dancer and River January.
That's right.
So I think he accelerated really nicely and go and see that race. I think he accelerated really nicely, and think tomorrow, so we can't ignore him here.
Yeah, he's only had 1 poor run in Mauritius, and that was over the 1400. He is ideally suited to the 990. Unfortunate about the draw. He's going to be jumping from barrier gate 11, but he's got quite a bit of speed. And he could maybe sort of, if he's just like Roman Dancer, if he has a little bit of luck, he could run a good race here as well. Those look like the main contenders. I'm just hoping birthday boy John O'Baratier can have a little bit of luck with Roman Dancer. And if he does, he probably could be too good for the field.
Yeah.
All right, let's move over to race 3. It's the Rotary Polio Eradication Program Cup. That's quite a mouthful. It's a benchmark 36, 1500 meters. Varside, ultra consistent. He really sort of fought his guts out last time with Kudutu. Unfortunately, it was heads up, heads down. His head is up, Kudutu's head was down. That's how it goes in racing. I think he probably could be the one to beat this time, Varside. Ultra consistent. We obviously remember he's only sort of 1 poor run in Mauritius was when they tried the blinkers on him, but he's got some good form. He's beaten horses like Till Dawn, Volatile Energy, great run to Kudutu. He's definitely going to be my first choice, but once again, another tough race, Raksha.
Yeah, despite Varside having the draw and so on, so it's quite a tough race with the newcomer of Gajidar stable, and also the horse Blow in the Box, which you drop on for him. So basically, these are the horses that can play against Varside, but I think this time Varside can make it easily. He goes with a chance here.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think he can get beaten after watching this, because we have Cyber Special, but I don't know if the transition of 1850 to come in a 1500.
Yeah. There was a horse early on in, was it last week? The horse that sort of dropped down in distance, and you can see it doesn't really suit them. So Cyber Special, yeah, he has been pretty special in Mauritius. 4 runs, 2 wins, 2 places. But I agree with Raksha, dropping from that 1850 down to a 1500 is a bit of a worry for me. Listen, Bonjour Baby, he's a decent horse. We can ignore his last run completely from that bad draw. He's drawn 1 this time, right? Jura 1. He's so hungry for a winner. I wouldn't leave him out of the pick 8. And then that Osman Ethrin, that was such a good debut win. Maybe the second run syndrome last time. He ran a little bit flat. He'll probably be a little bit better, but he's got a poor draw as well. At the end of the day, it looks like the first 3 races for Saturday is quite tough. And you're going to have to load a couple. Like Raksha says as well, Blow in the Box. I've given up on him. And I've got a habit, when I give up on horses, they come out and win.
Then they won.
Mumbo's another one. Mumbo, I gave up on him completely, and he came out and won. So that's probably a good thing. That's probably a tip for you, Blow in the Box. When I give up on them, they come out and win. So don't leave Blow in the Box out of anything.
But last time, I think, Mark, for Blow in the Box, he was drawn 1. But yet, I don't know how the jockey managed to get him with the back markers.
Yes, yeah.
Despite having a draw.
Yeah.
But he finished quite strongly with Texas Sky and all.
Yes.
So I think he goes with a chance to be included in your exotic bets.
Yeah, you definitely can't leave him
What do you think about the third one?
Listen, he's got some. They thought him sort of good enough to run in the Daily News, which is a Group 1 back in South Africa. I think he was probably used to make the pace, but he ended up getting beaten. But if a horse is sort of considered good enough to run in a race like that, obviously he's got a bit of class. I mean, he ran in some nice races in South Africa, and he is obviously a very classy horse. It all depends on how he's going to handle the first race. But once again, a very, very tricky third race.
Yeah, I think for the third horse also, if I'm not wrong, there was one interview where Gopal Gajadhar said that this horse should run like few weeks back, but they waited him to be 1 year to be eligible in the benchmark 36.
Okay.
So I think they have a future plan for this horse.
Well, he has got some very good form back in South Africa, has Alsaker. Look, we're gonna have to put our heads down because we've spoken about almost every horse in the race. If you had to take a straight line quartet, how would you go?
Varside, Blow in the Box, Alaskra, and Cyber Special.
Okay, I'll probably go Varside. I'm going to give Bonjour Baby one more chance. I think he's a decent horse. You can ignore that run. Blow in the Box and Manethrin will be my fourth choice. But once again, tough first three races. It's going to get easier. Race 4, it's a 990, benchmark 46. It looks like the top three in the weights are probably going to be the biggest contenders here. I'm a big fan of number 2, Maximo. I think that the fact that Henry Tudor and Rahib are probably going to be a little bit quicker than him. Hopefully Nourish Juglal can sort of settle him just behind them. If those two go out and murder each other in front early on, it's going to suit Maximo. Maximo cracking run last time in a benchmark 61. I know Robbie Fred sort of has rated Maximo quite highly, and Tuesday morning his track work was very, very good as well. So Maximo is probably a reluctant first choice. I think any one of 1, 2 and 3 can win it, but I'm going to lean towards number 2, Maximo.
Well, my heart says Maximo, but my head says Henry Tudor can make it.
Yeah.
I think the reference race would be behind a Wave Breaker, and he's coming after a short break, so I think he might run well fresh. So definitely I place Maximo second, and third I think Rahib. He's been running in these categories of races like 90-90, but I think he's up in class.
Yeah, so he is up into 46. I just think that Daryl Holland really rides him beautifully. But getting back to Maximo, he beat Dollar Tractor. Dollar Tractor came out and won a good race, and that was a terrific run behind Barrack Street as well. Henry Tudor, very good 990 form. I think it's going to be between the top 3, but I'm going to go Maximo to beat Henry Tudor, and Rahib will be my third choice.
So I will go for Henry Tudor, Maximo and Rahib.
Okay, same trifecta, just structured slightly different. Right, race 5, 1850, benchmark 56, and this looks like it's going to be a really exciting race. 2 of my favorite horses, Al-Shiba and Perplexing. I've been dying to see Perplexing going over the 1850. I really believe it's going to suit him. We all saw what happened to him last time. Very, very unlucky to get beat. He's a top race was this, and even though he is stepping up with class after every single win, we don't know exactly where the sort of the sky is as the limit is concerned. But Perplexing, obviously a big runner, unfortunately drawn 10 out of 10, but he is a horse that comes from off the pace, but I reckon he's going to have to be at his best to beat Al-Shiba. I was very, very impressed with his last win, and I thought Daryl Holland gave him a cracking ride. I think Al-Shiba will be my first choice in the 5th race.
Mark, you're giving me a tough task here, because really my heart wants Al-Shiba to win that race. But if we think, well, Perplexing with the 10th draw, that won't be a great issue. Last time he got a difficult race, so definitely I think this time there would be a match at the end, not so easy for Al-Shiba, because Perplexing, the aim of the connection of Gajadhar stable is the maiden. So definitely he has to win 2 races to be eligible in the maiden.
That's right.
So if he beats Al-Shiba tomorrow, Saturday, tomorrow, then maybe he has a chance in the maiden. But if he don't make it, then we can forget it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Rasha, when I saw him beat Uzo, the first thing that went through my mind was, this is a maiden cup horse. And this is why I said I'm so glad to see him going over the 1850, and I think he will go. I've always said he reminds me of Diamond Light. Diamond Light, look, he never won the maiden, but he sort of was placed in the maiden, and I think he won one of those big races over 2,200. And I think Perplexing is very, very similar horse to Diamond Light.
I think both horses, we don't know their limits. Even Al-Shiba has been impressing lately, so we don't know both limits.
Yeah, exactly. And then sort of a little bit of a roughie, or when I say roughie, a bit of an outsider, Moonrise Sensation. He did pretty well over the staying races last year. In fact, he won 3 races from a 1850 up to a 2,200. Obviously, he's going to be a lot better distance suited this time. And I'm going to put him in as a little bit of a outsider. Probably if I had to take a trifecta, I would Al-Shiba, Perplexing and Moonrise Sensation.
I would go for same.
Okay, all right, well, we agree on that one. Right, it's a 6th race, the Rotary Club of Eben Cup. We're sitting in Eben right now. So, it's a 1400 meter benchmark 61, and that Peripallis was so sort of convincing last time. He really won a cracking race. Very good penultimate start behind White River. He's drawn 6 now. Obviously, the emergency scepter's come out. Daryl Holland knows him quite well. I think, in my opinion, I'm going to make him my banker of the afternoon.
But do you think he would jump and lead easily? Because last time he led from start to finish, that was an end race.
Yeah.
But this time with flyers like we have the Tripster, we have Kings County, even Ice Run, and I think there is another horse, no, Peripallis, of course.
Yeah.
So definitely, do you think his task will be easy at the start?
Russia, I'll tell you what, I personally don't believe that this horse has to lead. He's got natural speed, but you know, Daryl Holland's a very, very experienced rider. I don't think he'll panic. If he jumps and he sees that he can't lead, I wouldn't be surprised if he settles him into the 2nd position. He showed a very good turn of foot when he came into the straight last time. And look, I personally think he probably is the quickest, but Daryl won't panic. I think he'll obviously, Daryl Holland's one of those jockeys that goes into a race with sort of plan A, plan B, and if necessary, plan C. So, you know, he's a very, very experienced rider. He's a good jockey. I think he's a major asset to the Ricky Maingard stable, and I'm going to rely on Daryl Holland to bring my banker home for me.
Wow, banker. So for me, I would go for Rule the Night. The distance not an issue. Best decide last time he had a difficult race, and I think stays back. So I think Rule the Night will be hard in that race, and of course I can't ignore your favorite Peripallis. But I think if that race is quite difficult with all that front runners, then we can expect a finisher to win that.
Yeah, exactly.
And on that note, I won't ignore Aware here.
Okay. Yeah, Aware on his day, he's a decent horse, Aware, and especially like you say, if the pace is quick, he's drawn 2, he'll be there for nothing. I do agree, yeah, Aware definitely. What about Kings County? He showed so much last year. He's, I thought his first run this season, he went too fast. And then maybe last time, no really excuses really last time, but he's a type of horse that if he finds his form of 2018, he could run a good race as well.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, I'd like to see Kings County bounce back. He's a nice horse. End of the day, I reckon Peripallis, he's going to hold too many guns for them. I do agree with Raksha. Rule the Night, obviously he's a young horse. He was very unlucky last time. Emmanuel almost fell off, and but it's going to be tough from that 9 draw. He's going to have to get him to settle as well, because he takes a hold Rule the Night. Yeah. But if they go quick, he might just settle. But in the day, I'm going number 1, Peripallis, my banker of the afternoon.
That will be interesting to follow.
All right, number 7, the Black Tulip Cup. It's a 1500 meter benchmark 31. One of my, I wouldn't say favorite horses, but a horse that I've sort of been following for quite a while now is Till Dawn. He's had the 3 runs in Mauritius for 3 places, 2 very, very close seconds. Don't exactly know what went wrong last time when I thought he'd be very, very hard to beat last time when he got beat 2.5 lengths by Newsman. He's drawn 1 this time. Carl Zegner, Pritam Dabi, they're starting to find a bit of form. You agree with me with Till Dawn?
Yeah, I agree with you with Till Dawn. Drawn 1, and also last time took a decent place, so we can't ignore him. But for the win, I'm going for King's Empire.
Okay.
I think this time the horse gonna run a cracker one. Last time he didn't get a clear run, so definitely it was a good draw, and Manuel Muniz on board. So I think we can't ignore him here.
Okay, and your third choice, who would your third choice be?
Trandus run an impressive race last time.
Yeah, so he was.
Let's see how he take the races.
Yeah, it's his second run, but that was a cracking run. He sort of like halfway up the straight, didn't look like he was going to run anywhere, and then he really took off. He was hanging in quite badly that day, Raksha, and I see they've fitted a pricker with him. I must be honest, I'm not a big fan of prickers. I honestly don't believe it works. Maybe on some horses, but I'm not a big fan of prickers. But he really finished that race off nicely. Did Tyrandius, and he must be considered. But at the end of the day, Till Dawn will probably be my first choice. Tyrandius my second, and then I do agree with you, King's Empire. Another horse that I've given quite a lot of sort of time and chances to, and keeps on letting me down. So I'm going to give him one more chance. He's got some nice form back in South Africa, and let's hope that the penny has dropped with number 2, King's Empire. So 10, 6-2 will be my selection.
I'll go for 2, 10, 6, and maybe for quartet here for exotics bets players, I will add Pop the Question, who is down in class.
Okay, great. Right, it's the 8th race on Saturday. It's the final race for Saturday. We still have got another meeting to discuss, but let's talk about the 8th race. And actually, I've got a little bit of a value bet here. Once again, I'm relying on Daryl Holland. This was Hit the Green. I like him purely because I don't think he's taking on the strongest field. He's had the 2 runs in Mauritius. We know Ricky Mango doesn't sort of press his horses early on. He lets the racing bring them on. He's drawn 2. He's got some decent South African form. In fact, he ran in the nursery. They thought he was good enough to run in the nursery, although he did get beat 10 lengths by William the Silent. I thought they changed his name. But he ran a very good second to Benji as well. I think he's got a little bit of sort of promise, this horse. I think he's probably a little bit better than his rating of 24 as well. Hit the Green, a little bit of a value bet. I see he did open up at 900. I think he's at 500 now. So they've already sort of had a little bit of a nibble at the price. So Hit the Green, he's going to be my value bet for Saturday.
So me, I'm going for Zenzero, you know, beaten last favorite.
Very unlucky.
So yeah, very unlucky last time. He didn't get the clear run. So I think this time I'm gonna give him another chance to prove himself on 1,400 meters. So for the second place, I'll go for Charles My Boy, who did. I think we can ignore his last run behind Taranaki.
Yeah.
I think like with a good draw, we all know how David takes it on at the start. So I think I will put him in my quartet. And for third, this Stone Tiger really impressed me last time. I don't know what's your opinion on this horse, but he did impress me last time.
Yeah, there was a cracking run behind Taranaki. There was a race with, I think, what's his name? The horse that's running the last race on Sunday, something Spain. When he ran second, Master of Spain, that's it, yeah. And I really like Master of Spain for Sunday's meeting. So Stone Tiger is a young horse. There was a pretty good run as well. But end of the day, one thing, getting back to Zenzero, his best form in Mauritius has been 990. But if you go back to South Africa, he won over 1,600. So obviously that's not going to be a problem. He was very unlucky last time. I don't think he should have lost. He was very, very unlucky. End of the day, I'm going to go with my value bet, number 4, Hit the Green, to beat Zenzero. My third choice, I'm agreeing with Raksha. I'm going to go with Stone Tiger. Before we close off and move over to the Barbic Cup Day, what would be your banker for Saturday afternoon?
My banker would be Romanus.
Okay, all right. Okay, banker Romanus.
As you mentioned, all the races are quite open.
Yeah, I'm going to go Para Palace, and I'm going for a little bit of a value bet, Hit the Green. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on Daryl Holland to shine on Saturday, and hopefully that works out for you. Okay, well, thanks very much. That's our Saturday meeting. We will bring up our Sunday meeting for the Barbie Cup as well, and stay tuned to watch for our Sunday meeting. Thanks.